went to England and conquered England are going on the Crusades, or their descendants. So these are all Norman, really the Norman knights, who have gone from France to England and so on and so forth. That's why foreigners are called Frenchies. But the same thing in Spain is going on. Toledo, the capital of Spain, classical capital of Spain in central Spain, fell to Norman knights on another crusade. What date, do you know? 1085. That's 20 years after England fell, and 15 years before the Jerusalem fell. And all these are the same knights who are involved in these battles, in England, in Spain, and in Jerusalem. And it goes on through the 10 and 1100s. So he's watching things in the early 1100s, and this is what he sees. He sees Franks. I'll give you some instances of how they do things. He sees them as animals. God sees them as animals, possessing only the virtues of courage and fighting, but nothing else. And just as animals have only the virtues of strength and carrying loads, I'll give you some examples of their curious mentality. In the army of King Fulk, son of Fulk, a Frangi, a Frankish revered knight, who had just arrived in the land to make the pilgrimage, Jerusalem that is, and then return home. I knew him well. He was in my friendship and kept some constant company with me that he began to call me brother. He's laughing at this. He called me brother. Between us were mutual bonds of amity and friendship. When he resolved to return by sea to his homeland, he said to me, "Brother, I'm leaving for my country, and I want you to send with me your son." My son was 14 years old at the time, and he was in my company, "to our country, where he can see the knights and learn wisdom and chivalry. When he returns, he will be wise." He's quoting his supposed friend here, leaving the country. This is so intimate, it's interesting. "Thus there fell upon my ears words which will never come out of the head of a sensible man. For even if my son were taken captive, his captivity would not bring him a worse misfortune than carrying him into the land of the Franks." That is all the French speaking Arabic. However, I said to the man, as people in the Middle East do to this day, putting on a dissimulating face to outsiders is part and parcel of what the Middle East considers normal. This is what the Saudis do. The Saudis do the same thing. They say one thing to Bush in person and say something else on their radio stations, and a third thing to the people that they're financing to blow American soldiers up. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, I'm just saying this is how things work. So he says, well, the one thing, "Oh yes, it's very nice that you should want to take him." And he says, "By my life, that's exactly my idea. This is exactly what's in Khalil Wadimna, isn't it? And the tortoise and the monkey." And the monkey, he says to the monkey, "Oh yes, I forgot to bring my heart with me. Just take me back and, I'll get my heart, don't worry." "Oh yes, that's exactly my idea. The only thing is, I didn't bring my heart along. No. The only thing is, to prevent me from carrying out is my grandmother, his grandmother, my mother. He's so fond of him that she did not this time let him come out with me." It's exactly, you see, the monkey and the tortoise. "She exacted an oath from me that I should return him to her." Thereupon he asked, "Is your mother still alive?" "Yes," I replied. "Well," he said, "don't disobey her." That's supposed to be funny. I think it is funny. Let's tell you about their curious medicine. The Lord of Munarier, someplace, some fortress in Lebanon, I guess this is, wrote to my uncle asking him to dispatch a physician to treat certain sick people among his people. The Christians are controlling things because the First Crusade took Jerusalem in 1099, and they don't lose out until about 1200, 100 years later. So this is in that period when they're in control. My uncle sent him a Christian physician named Thabit. Thabit was absent about 10 days, and when he returned, we said to him, "How quickly you healed all your patients, Thabit." He said, "They brought me a knight in whose, we did read this, how we treated the knight and the woman so that they both died." That was his medicine. Further along here, I witnessed a case of their medicine which was quite different. The king of the Franks, folk of Anjou. You see, Anjou is in Aquitaine in France, along by the Bay of Biscayne. And that's where Richard and his brother came from, Eleanor of Aquitaine. A knight named Bernard, may Allah be cursed beyond him, was one of the most accursed and wicked of the Franks. The course kicked him in the leg, which became infected and opened in 14 different places. Oh, we did this too, how he amputates the leg. Let's get another one here. Some more here. This is happened to me in Antioch on a business trip. A man was accompanied by his son, and Frank noticed the boy and asked the father about him. Abel Father replied, "This is my son." The Frank said, "Well, swear by thy religion I prescribe to you the medicine which will cure the boy, that will charge nobody fees for prescribing it. In that case, I shall prescribe to thee a medicine which will cure the boy." The man took the oath, and the Frank said, gave him this medicine of glass wort soaked with ashes and olive oil, vinegar, and something burn, and he gives it to him to cure the boy. I don't know what's wrong with the boy here. The father treated the boy accordingly, and the boy was cured. His sores closed. The boy returned to his normal condition of health. I myself treated with his medicine many who were afflicted with such a disease, and the treatment was successful. So this is a case where the Frank does have good medicine. Now let's go to their other behaviors. Everyone who is a fresh immigrant from Frankish lands is ruder in character than those who have become acclimatized and have learned to live like good Muslims and learned our customs by long association with Muslims. Here's an illustration of how rude they are. This is a good one. When I visited Jerusalem, I always entered the Aqsa Mosque. You know, Al-Aqsa is where the Jews and the Palestinians are fighting even today on the Temple Mount. Al-Aqsa is the big center of Palestinian nationalism. It's on the Temple Mount near the Mosque of Omar. Beside which stood a small mosque which the Franks had made into a church. I used to enter the Aqsa Mosque, which was occupied by the Templars. We're now hearing about the Templars in the Da Vinci Code all the time, who were my friends. You know, these are warriors who have taken an oath and are supposed to be holy warriors. The Templars would evacuate the little adjoining mosque so I could pray in it because they liked me. One day I entered the mosque repeating my prayer, Allah is great, and stood in the act of praying, his rakas. And one of the Franks rushed on me. He got hold of me and turned my face eastward and saying, no, this is the way, you should pray. You're praying in the wrong way. Apparently Christians pray towards the east. I didn't know that, but I guess that they do. A group of Templars hastened to him and seized him and pulled him back, and I resumed my regular prayer. And the same man, when the others were otherwise busy, rushed again at me, because this fellow had just come. He didn't know that Muslims and Christians treated each other well. He thought they were enemies. No, this way, you should pray like this. Templars again came to him and threw him out, and they apologized to me and said, look, this is a newcomer. He's only recently arrived from the land of the Franks. He's never before seen anyone praying